Man, oh man, what do I have tonight? You guys are already here waiting for me. I am surprised. Thank you for joining me on Thursday. Another Thirsty Thursday, time for a Hometown Hammer. Um, so everyone has to remember to like and subscribe. You know, every like is a West Ham win, and you know we can all use some more of those. All right, Dalek, Foe. We got Tebow, Kieran, Charlie Boy. Hey, Charlie Boy, I got someone special for you tonight. So, our hometown hammer comes from the city that doesn't sleep. Although I hear now people do sleep because of COVID, but we're not going to talk about that. My hometown hammer of this week is Brian from the New York City Hammers. Hi, Brian. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Oh, we got Wally in the house, the king of Prussia. So I am so fortunate enough to have you on tonight from the New York City Hammers, and you are my first official New York City Hammer that I am to meet virtually, other than Charlie Boy. So it is so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you as well.
Kieran, I did just update the look. I got rid of the burgundy, the claret, and went back to blonde. So, you know, I'm a chameleon. I like to keep you all on your toes here. So Brian has a lot of exciting things to share with us tonight. I'm super pumped. I'm even going to put Ray on his toes because I got a little PowerPoint action, which Brian gave me some material for. So I'm pretty excited about that. But Brian, before we get started, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and maybe how you even got to start to follow West Ham?
Sure. I'm from Long Island, which is I'm about 45 minutes outside of New York City. I'm a musician, and I toured as a musician for many, many years. And about 11 years ago, now 12 years ago, 2009, I had a tour that was going to run through the UK. And I reached out to some friends of mine that I knew from other bands and stuff over there. And I said, hey, I want to see some football. I'd been to football before in other cities around Europe, but I'd never seen a proper match in England before. And I reached out to some friends of mine. They said, you're coming with us to West Ham. So my first match was in 2009, West Ham Burnley at Upton Park. And I caught on like that. I mean, I was familiar with the team. I'd been watching the Premiership for probably about 10 years before that, but I hadn't really chosen a team. Like I feel very strongly about your team you have to have a reason for your team. I never wanted to pick a team just because they were the popular upfront team. I always wanted to pick a team that I had some kind of connection to. So that I got taken to that match and kind of never looked back from there.
That's incredible. We actually have a couple here in Philadelphia who started following West Ham because one of the bands that they liked in the UK always talked about the Hammers. So it's very cool to hear that music influence that you had as well, and being able to go to matches over in London. That's incredible. So about how many years ago would you say you became a fan?
Well, that's what I was saying. That was 2009. So I've been, I claimed the team as my team. That'll be 12 years ago this year.
Yeah, that's
11 years ago, 12 years ago.
And so when you guys watch games in New York, they come to Long Island?
No. So our home bar in New York City is Smithfield Hall, which is on 25th Street between 7th and 6th Avenues. It's the second location. Smithfield used to be a smaller bar kind of in that same neighborhood. And then I think they opened up the new place, I want to say in the last 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years. There's two big football bars in New York, and that's Jack Dempsey's is up by the they call it the Football Factory, which is up by the Empire State Building. And then
Okay.
there's Smithfield, and Smithfield is, that's our home. There's a bunch of fan clubs that have their base there. It's officially a Man United bar, but we're probably the number 2 biggest supporter club in the bar. There's supporter clubs from Bayern Munich, supporter club from Roma, from Italy. I've seen Nottingham Forest. There's a lot of fan clubs call that bar their home. It's a great place to watch a game.
Well, I'm excited. As soon as this all settles down, I have hopefully am planning a trip up to see the 9/11 Memorial, and I hope to be making a stop at Smithfield because I think we need to be number 1 in that bar.
I agree. You know what?
So, guys, we got to make a trip up. Wow,
Yeah.
John, Mark, we're going. And Fo, I do need my glasses. There's a bit of a glare this evening. I'm getting old, so Lois Lane in the building. So when you saw games over in London, was that at Boleyn or was that at the London Stadium?
I've been to both. I mean, I have a bunch of friends in town, and I even have friends of mine that live in the neighborhood at Bowling Ground. So I was very lucky for a bunch of years there. I was going to at least one or two, sometimes 3 matches a year.
Wow.
I would fly over and stay with a friend and literally walk to the match from my friend's place.
So here's a question from Kieran. Kieran wants to know, what genre of music do you like?
Good question. So some of the guys, when you asked me to do this, I wanted to talk to some of the guys because I've only been, going to matches with these guys, going to the bar to watch matches. I've known these guys about 6-7 years now, but they've had this club since 2001. This is the 20th anniversary of New York City Hammers. And one of the things that Sean, who's the founder, I sent you a couple pictures Sean's in. He wanted me to mention just the music connection. And a huge number of the guys in the New York City Hammers kind of knew each other already from the underground punk rock, hardcore, that kind of music scene in New York City and around the East Coast. And the team has a huge music connection. You mentioned somebody, I'm assuming, there's a ton of bands that have represented the team over the years. The first time I ever heard of the team was, I'm a huge heavy metal fan. And I knew that Iron Maiden, the bass player from Iron Maiden, Steve Harris, not only was a fan since he was a little kid, but he actually played in the youth team when he was in his, early teens. I think even before he decided to go into music full time, he had considered being a professional footballer. So that had been the first time I heard about the team, is through being a fan of his. But there's a ton of bands that that's their team.
Someone mentioned Iron Maiden in the chat, and I saw it, and I thought that they were speaking about the Netflix documentary, but that makes perfect sense that they were talking about the band. So now I'm on the same page. Sorry, whoever said that in the chat, that's my fault. But that's really neat. And so your band, is it heavy metal as well?
I was in a hardcore band called Madball for about 16, 17 years. That's a New York hardcore band. Kind of, if you don't know the genre of music, it's a cross between punk and heavy metal.
Okay, nice. That's awesome. Kieran mentioned Iron Maiden. Yeah, good call, Kieran. Vernon wants to know if you like the Cockney Rejects. I've heard of them.
Cockney Rejects are probably the most famous West Ham band out there. That was a punk band from England. I was more of a metal guy than a punk guy. So I'm never going to speak about the Cockney Rejects other than I know they were an East London band. They were West Ham supporters before they were musicians. And they really flew the flag for many, many years, and they still do.
Wow. So, Wally, I know you're in New Orleans, and Fat Tuesday was this past Tuesday. I'm very jealous because 2 years ago I went to Mardi Gras. So, I hope you're having a good time. He goes every year. That's awesome that the waiter recognized your hat. I'm super jealous, and I cannot wait to get a beer with you hopefully soon. Brian Wally is a part of our Philadelphia club, and we get together pretty frequently. He also is our referee for our Friday Night Lights TV show. So, all right. So, who is your favorite player? It can be someone now or from the past.
I've thought about that. I'm glad we talked about that this afternoon because I'd hate to be put on the spot. I'd have to say that the most exciting team that I saw in the 12 years since I've been a fan was the last year when we were in Upton Park when we had Dimitri Payet. I mean, that was probably the most talented, highly skilled player that I've seen in the short time as I've been a fan. He was just a magician. And I saw him hit a couple of free kick set piece goals at games I was at. That's the kind of stuff you see Ronaldo do and Messi do on highlight films, and just to see him, nail 2 or 3 of those a year was just unbelievable. So that was my favorite guy.
I mean, just watching his last goal at Bolin, I was like,
yeah, he was incredible. It's a shame that he left the club the way he did. He didn't really leave very honorably, but it was still, he put in some good work here.
We still have a lot of love for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very loyal. So Vern wants to know, what instrument do you play?
I'm a guitar player, but I also play bass as well.
Vern, do you play an instrument? I don't even know, Vern. Oh, Tebow, you're wrong.
Well, he's not completely wrong.
I just have to tell him that. Okay, so favorite chant and bonus points if you can sing it. So if there's any chant that you liked when you were over in London or any that you sing here in New York, whichever, and if you can sing it, it makes my day.
Yeah, the singing is not going to happen.
Come on, you're a musician.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm a singer. I won't sing, but favorite chant. I mean, there's so many. Some of the clever ones. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of the good East London ones. I've got a cool scarf up behind me. I've got my friend gave me. Can you see the East London scarf?
Easy.
Up in the back.
East London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool chant. It's pretty intimidating when you're at an away match and you hear everybody start screaming that down the street as you're going in. It's kind of our way we announce ourselves.
So I actually have not been to an away game, so I need to.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, unfortunately, and it's like this with every team. It's not just West Ham. Your home fans can tend to get a little complacent, but only the hardest of the hardcore diehards do away matches. So, and especially when they condense you down into that group of like 2,000-3,000 people and stick you in your own end there where you're surrounded on all sides by people that want to kill you. Nobody goes to away matches to just sit there and chit chat with their friend.
Yeah.
When you're in an away match, everybody sings and everybody's been pre-gaming before the match. And, you're there to make a statement. It is a unique experience especially compared to North American sports where you're just all intermingled. I highly recommend if the London Stadium is going to be around forever. There's a lot of grounds across the Premier League that might not be there for many more years. I highly recommend if you get a chance to go over and you got connections of somebody that can get you an away ticket, do that. It's an unbelievable day out.
That's a great piece of advice, and I have not heard anyone bring that up, but you're absolutely correct. And it's definitely definitely on my list to do. So I've got a lot to conquer once I go back over across the pond. But
I've got some good pictures I sent you there if you ever wanted to.
Yeah. Do you want? Should I pull them up now?
Yeah, if you want. Your choice. Right. Your show.
Yeah. So this is where hopefully I'm giving Ray a little bit of a run for his money here. But I have so many desktop items open, so let's see if I can do this. I might not be as cool as Ray. Shoot. All right. Let's see if I can do this. Let's share screen 2. Let's see if this will.
Oh, got the screen on.
You see it?
I see the screen. There you go. Oh, that's a great picture. Did I send you that?
No, but I had to put it on there because it's New York City Hammer.
It's awesome. You know what that card is, in case you didn't know or anybody, that's kind of a tribute to ICF, Inner City Firm, back when they used to mix it up. After a fight, they'd leave that on the ground next to whoever they had laid out. I don't know how much of the violent aspect we get into on this show, and it would say, congratulations, you have just met the Inner City Firm. And one of our guys made those up. And my initial immediate thing was like, those need to be drink tickets. And those need to say, I think it should say that on the one side, and on the other side, it should say, this is good for one drink on us. And if you bring that into the bar, you get a free drink and we'll pay for it.
That would be really cool. Yes, I agree, Tebow. So Wally, we're going to need these made up for the Philadelphia Hammers immediately. We actually do what's called hammer shots. We make our own red. It's with vodka and razzmatazz, and every time we score, we take shots. So
nice,
fun. But that's our Philadelphia tradition.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip on to the next photo, and this is in Smithfield. Oh,
let's see.
I don't know. You can't see it on your screen.
Yeah, I don't see yet. So I still see the business card.
Guys, I really tried to do an impressive show tonight. Oh, I really thought I could do it. Let's see. Yeah, I did it.
There you go. Yes, that's a Smithfield shot.
That's awesome.
Just that's either halftime or pre-match or whatever, and that looks like one of the days where they gave us our whole back end. Sometimes we have to share depending on the times of when there's other matches, but there's times where we're the only match going and we get to take over the whole place.
Well, good. We'll bring our Philly flag and we'll come up.
Yes, we'd love to have you. Anybody. Oh, that's the first time I went.
Wow.
That's 2009.
Nice.
That's from this year. That's one of the, I think that might have been the season opener this year when Smithfield, they had a little sidewalk thing set up because indoor dining is restricted.
What's up? I love it. I love the one guy covering his
kitchen and take him. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, that was we were on the sidewalk outside of the bar. They put TVs in the windows and they put little speakers out there, so we had a pretty good amount of people. It was easier in September and October when it was warmer. I think it's a little tough now.
Yeah, Fo, you're gonna have to brag to Ray. I now have PowerPoint presentation skills. The show is going off the chain right now, off the chain.
Very good.
2021. All right. Oh, is kind of in the way of this.
That's all right. We took over the street. We pushed out into the street to take a group picture with everybody.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's our flag at the Bobby Moore statue. And
you know
what?
Yeah.
I honest to God don't know where exactly that is because I think No, you know what? I should have gotten the background on that one because that's not Upton Park. The Bobby Moore statue at Upton Park is from the World Cup. That's not that may be at the new grounds, and I haven't gotten to see it yet. Even though I've been there, I haven't seen the statue yet.
Huh.
That's the last night match I went to at Upton Park in 2016. We beat Spurs on a Monday night game, 1-0.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a great match.
I'm happy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Tebow says it was at Wembley.
Thank you. That's why I've never been to a football match at Wembley.
Yeah, I haven't either. We went there to see Steps. That funny enough, that's my music connection. We went and saw Steps the day after we went to the West Ham game, and it was up in Wembley. And so we were quite hungover from the West Ham game, but we had a blast.
That's one of the that's at Upton Park, and that's about, I want to say 2014 or 15, and that's our fearless leader Sean, and he forgot the flag. He forgot the flag either at home or it might even made it over to London, and it was at his hotel, and so somebody got out a pen and scribbled on a napkin, and so there's us representing in the hallway at halftime.
That's amazing.
That's another shot at the bar. That's outside the bar.
Nice.
That was a cool day. We were there, and there was the LAFC support group. The Luckies they were in town for MLS the next day, and they came down, and we had a great time with those guys. They gave us a whole bunch of T-shirts and hats and stuff, and we gave them a bunch of stuff we had.
That's awesome.
Yep. That's behind the ground. That's behind the old ground at Upton Park. That's become very famous now.
Yeah.
People have put that on stickers and T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. That when I got that picture, that had only been up there for a couple of weeks. And as I said, I've got friends that live in the neighborhood. I still stay in the same neighborhood, even though the ground is gone. And on my way to the train to go to the London Stadium, you go past that. That's behind the old social club.
Yeah, I did not see that, so that's definitely on my list next time as well.
They've expanded it now. Some people painted over it and then they recreated it, and then I've got some other pictures in there where they've put a bunch of new stuff up around it. It's a really cool little tribute spot.
I did see that it is repainted. Awesome that you have an original picture.
That's a shirt we used to sell. Yeah, that's the stuff they put there now. That's Sean. That's the guy that founded the club.
Okay.
2001.
Nice.
There's some friends of mine from Berlin. That's Berlin Hammers. They have a pretty big crew there. And for them, if anybody's been to Europe, like you can get a flight round trip between cities. Inter-Europe is super cheap.
Yeah.
So those guys and ladies will pop over, on a weekend. They'll just get the flight in the morning or fly over the night before, and they'll go home that night. It's no big deal. It's like going to Philly.
That would be pretty crazy.
That's Anfield. That was one of the away matches I did in 2018. We got our asses handed to us, but it was expected. That's another outside the bar.
I love it. I love the little hammer.
Yep, little young generation. And that's another spot by Upton Park. If you know what they did, they put a whole apartment complex over where the ground used to be.
Yeah.
But there's one little area, and it's kind of like a shrine where there's just a little bit left over of the original gates that used to go into the front parking lot there in front of the stadium. And people have turned that into kind of like their shrine for a lot of people. Leave flowers if their loved one had died and they were a big West Ham fan. Anybody that comes just to see where the grounds used to be will leave their football stickers up there. And because I'm 6'3", I can always, every time I go, I always make sure we have a fresh one on top of that pole, and I always get it up as high as I can, so whoever comes by can't scrape it off of there.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to bring a lot of Philly stickers over there. Although
I'll say this,
I'll be peeled off. I'm not tall.
now that you mention it, anybody watching this, a really cool thing is trading stickers. I've found. I've tried to collect. I should have had it ready for you, but I've got about 7, 8, 9, 10 stickers from around the world of different West Ham support groups. It's really fun to trade, and one of these days I want to do for my man cave here, I want to do just a collage of, like, if I could get 100 of them, it'd be amazing. Just different West Ham support groups from all over the world.
Yeah. I don't even know that Tim, the head of our network, has all of our stickers yet.
Yeah.
You might have to be the first.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all my
cool
notes. So that was really cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome to see all that. So just some general questions. Who on the squad right now frustrates you the most?
He's gone. Hilaire.
Yeah. A lot of people have been saying Hilaire.
Yeah.
Fo loved your slideshow. That's awesome. So what would you say about West Ham that you love?
The team's got a lot of character. You know, if you follow that team, nobody could ever accuse you of being a glory hunter. You know, like, if you follow that team, it's because something appealed to you that wasn't, you know, anybody can be a fan of the Yankees or Manchester United or the LA Lakers, or, you know, teams that win every other year. But if you're a fan of West Ham United, you know, the team's never won a premiership. We've got 2 or 3 FA Cups in the history of the team. So something appealed to you aside from the winning. And that's a special thing. Not a lot of teams have that. For me, it was just, you know, I got brought by friends that were 3rd and 4th generation West Ham people from London, and you see the passion of it. And, you know, there is nothing but the passion, because, again, no one's there just to, you know, jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's a really special team. You know, when you go to the London Stadium, I'll say this: when you go to London Stadium, of all the modern football grounds that are dead quiet, you know, corporate, super, everyone just, you know, politely claps. When you go to London Stadium, even though it's not Upton Park, it doesn't have the ambiance that Upton Park did. It's not that small vibe, but it's loud. The fans in there are still loud.
Yeah, my brother and I have videos that we will go back and watch of us just jumping up and down and singing and having a good time. And it is such an experience. And so many times when people come on the show, they talk about what they love, and usually it is the fans and the family aspect of it. I mean, exactly what you're talking about. People are 3rd and 4th generation bringing you to these games, and here we are over in the US now following a team that, you know, is not here local to us, and we are striving to get the games on a stream or a Peacock, and, you know, we live and eat and breathe it. So we're now our own little family over here, and it's just phenomenal. So exactly what you said, the team has so much character that it's brought us all together, and it's incredible because, you know, so many people are willing to follow the Yankees or the Tottenhams and Arsenal. And so it's great that, you know, we all come from a place of, we eat and breathe and sweat and blood into this team, and it's just very passionate for us. So it makes it all that more real that, you know, we're not that top tier team that wins all the time, and it is true fans. So
Very true.
Yeah, very cool. So another hard question for you. Apple pie or meat pie?
Geez, I'm not a huge fan of either. I would say apple.
Yeah, it's our American versus the English pie tradition here.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite team to beat?
Um, this is again like this is a just to give a quick thing like being a fairly new fan of the team. Like again, you go to matches and you're going to matches with guys that their great grandfather supported the team from 100 something years ago. I've always tried to respect my place as a newcomer, and the big rivals, the Chelsea, the Tottenham, those teams, the Arsenals, and Millwall especially is the one that always pops up with everybody. Those people hate those teams based on an entire lifetime of going at it with the people, they might work with or they grew up with, or stuff like that. I mean, as an American and as a newcomer to the team, those teams have really never taken anything out of me. Like they've never broken my heart. I don't remember that time we lost to those guys, and that's why I hate them. So I don't have that kind of hatred for those teams. It's fun to talk shit to friends of mine that are Chelsea or friends of mine, in London or even in the States here. The rivals are the Spurs, Chelsea. Obviously the arch rival of all time is Millwall, but I've never in my lifetime seen a West Ham Millwall match. The last one was 9 years ago. And it was I guess in the second league at that point. So the rivalries are fun. I just don't, and I try not to get carried away and try to assimilate too fast, because otherwise, if it's not natural, then you kind of look like a phony,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't stand Tottenham because my father's a Tottenham fan. But that's a whole nother story. It looks like we do have a Chelsea fan in the chat room, and so we can't speak too badly about Chelsea, I guess. Not this way. Okay, if you had a time machine to go back to any point in time, now or back at the Boleyn, being at the Chicken Run, specific game, specific player, what would it be? Would it be to see Bobby Moore, or
I would have liked to have seen a match in the '80s when before they got a handle on keeping things under control, because that was a very, very dangerous ground to go to if you weren't rooting for the right team. And I certainly don't advocate football violence, but it adds an element of things that you just don't get anymore. People passionate enough to want to mix it up over their team is a unique thing. I'm kind of walking the fence here, but yeah, I would like to see a match, a proper derby in the '80s between Spurs, between Chelsea, between Millwall. I mean, those are the kind of games that people tell those stories for years.
Have you heard of Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia?
I don't want to get into anything, but I went to the Spectrum as a visiting fan for.
Oh, geez.
So I certainly have known the concept of having to possibly fight your way out of somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand completely. Charlie, I think that is incredible. My family is big on saving newspaper clippings, especially from the Eagles and Phillies. We have a plethora of them. But I think that's amazing that your dad used to get clippings from your uncle.
I got a quick story for you that's kind of tied into what your friend just said.
Yeah.
The last match at Upton Park, we all watched at Smithfield. And I have a buddy of mine that I work with. I'm a stagehand as well. I'm a freelance stagehand. I have a buddy of mine that I work with who is about 4 or 5 years older than me. He's in his mid-50s now. And he's from London. He's from East London. he grew up as a West Ham fan, but he moved to New York in 1978. And when you move to when you move to the States in the 70s, you kiss your team goodbye. There's no way to get news. There was no internet then. There was no ESPN. There was no, so he couldn't tell you thing one about who's on the team now, about anything really about the day-to-day about the team. But anytime you ask him while we're working, what's your team? He's West Ham United. He answers you right quick. So for that match, I'd been asking him for weeks, hey, man, come down to the bar. Come down to the bar. I want you to see this. I want you to watch a game with me. I know you haven't seen a game in 30, 40 years, but I want you to come. He came for that last game. He came for the last game at Upton Park, and he had a blast with us. And I told him that was like my Field of Dreams moment, was to bring him back to his team, not my team, not our team, his team. He grew up on that team since he was a little kid in the 60s. And it was really cool to show him, hey, look at all these people from New York singing for the team that, you grew up watching.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. That's incredible.
Oh.
So last question I want to ask you, because we are not only football fans, but we are huge fans of food. Like, we talk about food all the time on this channel. I don't know why, but it just seems to go. So if we were to come to your town, what would you say is the best thing to eat?
New York pizza. New York is the best pizza in the world. Better than Italy, better than Boston, better than any of these chains you see around. I would say come to New York City, and I'll just give you one right off the top of my head that's walking distance from Smithfield, over by Madison Square Garden and Penn Station on 8th Avenue at 31st Street is a place called Suprema, New York Pizza Suprema. Excuse me, right outside Penn Station. That's my favorite.
I would not expect one to be that close.
Yep.
That good, but I've been to Penn Station a million times. And I always go into the Irish bar right across the street.
Okay.
Because I'm constantly waiting for like a train or a bus. And I've never thought to get pizza. So I will have to do that next time.
There you go.
Dalek, if you're saying veggie pizza, you don't go to New York to eat veggie pizza. That's for sure. And I know, Charlie Boy, of course. I mean, I wouldn't have expected anything less from you, Charlie Boy. Charlie is our other native New Yorker. Apparently he makes a mean pizza. We have yet to find that out. Yet to be known, Charlie Boy, yet to be known. All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. It was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed it all in the chat room. Yes, Wally, we will do a trip to Smithfield, definitely. I definitely have plans to get up there as soon as things calm down. So I have some open spaces for Hometown Hammer in the next couple weeks. If anyone knows anyone that wants to jump on, just shoot me a message, Miss West Ham Philly, on Instagram and Twitter. I would be more than happy to have you or a friend on. Just remember to like and subscribe. And tomorrow night, I think, is the finals of Friday Night Likes. Wally, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, although you are in New Orleans, so I don't know that you can do a final in New Orleans. Vern, I do like a good old pineapple pizza. Some people very against it. I'm okay with it. Next week. Oh, Tim corrected me. All right. Next week is Friday Night Likes final. So hopefully you guys will all be able to check on and check in on that. Other than that, I'm going to leave you with the last words. Come on, you Irons. All right, guys. See you next week. Have a good one. Be safe, Wally. Stay good, guys. Be safe. Good night.